From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Well, the latest tonight as fire devours much of Montana, impacting communities and families close to home. Well, as fire crews hold back flames and residents file into nearby communities, evacuees on the Northern Cheyenne Reservation face even more challenges tonight. Now, all evacuations remain in place in and around Ashland and Lame Deer as the Richard Spring fire jumps fire lines and roadways. Take a look. Crews say extreme fire behavior and wind-driven runs are forcing that fire perimeter to grow. Now, that fire initially sparked 10 miles south of Colstrip is burning right around 150,000 acres and at last check is 15% contained. U.S. Highway 212 now completely shut down heading into Lame Deer from the west after the fire jumped the highway near Muddy this afternoon. This forcing all traffic in and out of the town to reroute. Now, we talked with Northern Cheyenne Tribal President Donna Fisher this afternoon, who says the fire is heading in the direction of Lame Deer. She says there is an incident command set up in Lame Deer as they work to get more people evacuated. Some of the biggest struggles are down power lines, which means a lack of or no power and little to no cell service. Tribal leaders do have a backup generator to keep that incident command going. As these families face fire and fleeing their homes, people near and far are stepping up to help. Q2's Mitch Laggy caught up with a local group lending a hand and tells us how you can help.
In more ways than one, the community across South Central Montana is coming together to help support evacuees on the Northern Cheyenne Reservation who have been forced from their homes due to the Richard Spring fire. Staff and volunteers with Western Native Voice, a local Native American advocacy group, collected donations at the corner of 3rd Avenue North and North 27th Street in Billings on Wednesday. A wide variety of items are needed at the shelter in Busby, like food, water, and tents, personal protective equipment, personal hygiene products, food, bedding, and clothing. The group made the trip last night and will head down again on Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Program Director Abdel Russell is originally from Busby and said communication is tough with people on the reservation due to downed cellular services.
One small thing affects the entire tribe. So obviously, those who live off the reservation, I can tell you that they're very concerned as well for their families and their loved ones back home.
The Western Native Voice team will be back downtown on Thursday to accept more donations. As well, for people evacuated to the city of Colstrip, there are some services available. Colstrip City Hall has potable water for small jugs and tanks that comes from spigots on the building. Minor House Inn is giving away ice, and Colstrip Public Parks has made its facilities available for showers. And there's still more ways to help if you were planning to attend Montana Fair in Billings this year. Up to 4 canned food item donations to Billings Family Service will get you $1 each off the price of admission. Family Service staff will be making regular trips to the evacuated locations with 2 trucks over the course of the fair this upcoming week. Reporting in Billings, Mitch Laggy, MTN News.
All right, thanks so much, Mitch. Now you can find 2 different GoFundMe accounts to help those evacuees in this story at ktvq.com. Well, the Richard Spring fire, just one of many large fires burning across Montana right now. Tonight, 90 active fires are burning. As you can see, the majority of those scorching western Montana. 64 of those blazes have started this week alone, with 6 breaking out in the last 24 hours. Now, the Richard Spring fire is the largest fire in Montana right now, again at 15% contained. The Boulder 2700 fire near Flathead Lake is 33% contained after destroying at least 20 structures last week. Now turning to Chief Meteorologist Ed McIntosh. How will the weather affect all of these fires right now?
It's going to be really up and down over the course, even the next 24 hours. But as we get into the next couple of days, now the arrows on your screen indicate where the wind direction's been throughout the day. And it has been rather breezy, and that's been aggravating things. We'll zoom down a bit here right towards the Richard Spring fire towards the east of Billings. Notice that by tonight, the wind shifted more northeasterly. Firefighters are already starting to take that into account, but notice the chance of at least a sprinkle or a shower. It doesn't look like much will come of this, but as a cold front moves through, the winds start to taper off, and at least the humidity levels will start to go up by early tomorrow morning, perhaps just a little bit right over the fire area. We'll take a closer look at the weekend forecast. Definitely some things you need to know in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Ed. Well, as COVID-19 cases spike across the state, the risk in Yellowstone County is, of course, also on the rise. County health experts tell us 3 risk indicators on the COVID-19 dashboard have now moved to yellow, which reflect the need for caution. Now, the dashboard had stayed in green the entirety of June and July, which meant the virus risk was relatively low. Now, the number of new COVID-19 cases has doubled in the past 2 weeks, with Yellowstone County seeing 434 new cases in the first 11 days of August. In comparison, the county reported just 451 new cases in all of July. Now, the virus is also hitting more young people. 40 patients under the age of 19 tested positive in the last week. 18 of those children are under the age of 10. Now, that fact is now the heartbreaking reality for one Montana mom as her 13-year-old son is gravely ill with the Delta variant of COVID-19. He was taken to the Western Montana Clinic in Missoula. MTN's Caitlin Aguilas has the story.
Over the summer, Liam had been experiencing some mild pain in his stomach. One day, he woke up severely sick, and his health had taken a turn for the worse.
He had C. diff. He had possible Crohn's disease going on.
It was a perfect storm for the Delta variant to infect Liam's intestines.
I couldn't go over and see him, which ripped my heart out. So, I mean, that made things 10 times worse because here he was in a strange city, in a strange hospital, all by himself.
His infection is an example of a breakthrough case. According to the CDC, vaccine breakthrough cases occur in only a small percentage of vaccinated people. As of August 2nd, 2021, there have been over 7,000 people hospitalized with breakthrough cases. 1,507 have died so far. Dr. Lauren Willis, a pediatric gastroenterologist, is pleading with parents and those able to get vaccinated to do so because she says the future looks bleak.
So we really need Montanans to be caring for their fellow citizens. It's really important. We're starting to see children get extremely ill and even die.
The Texas Children's Hospital in Houston has seen COVID-positive cases rise from 3% to 10% among children. In Arkansas, COVID-19 hospitalizations rose by 103 to 1,376. Arkansas's Children's Hospital reported 27 children were hospitalized with COVID-19. 12 patients are in intensive care. 8 are on ventilators. 3 children have died so far. Myers hopes that she'll be able to hold her son again.
Right now, our main goal is to get him better. And the principal at East Middle School, Keith Miller, has been fabulous working with me. He said, just get him better. They'll worry about school later. And we have a wonderful team of doctors here in Butte. Everybody's been really supportive.
In Butte, Caitlin Aguilas, MTN News.
Thanks, Caitlin. Up next on tonight's MTN 5:30 News right here on Q2, aiming for gold. We'll catch up with one Montanan who recently wrapped up her Olympic experience in Tokyo. That story in just a bit.
Hi everybody, Scott Breen at the rodeo grounds. Coming up straight ahead, meet a bull rider whose favorite movie is Anchorman. Does he want to get into the news business?
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 530 News.
Pro Rodeo hits Montana Fair next week, and odds are pretty good that you'll see some of the world's best bull riders. Now, that includes one from Edgar. Q2 Scott Breen shows us the dog days of summer for Parker Bredding.
You know, rodeo's never been an easy way to make a living, but when you love it, you love it. And that's the story for Montana bull rider Parker Bredding, saddled with a travel partner. Not one, but 2 dogs, his truck and his trusty camper.
Yeah, I got this camper from one of my former traveling partners. Man, this is our home away from home. Gets a little tight sometimes. We got 2 dogs with us right now. Let's be.
A pair of dogs and a pair of cowboys down the dotted highway. The other half of this travel tandem is Hawk Witt from Thermopolis, Wyoming, and his dog. The humans tell us the dogs get along well. Parker's parents surprised him with this one from a litter of 7 at their place.
They kept this one for me as a surprise. I really liked her. She was the cutest little thing. Her dad's name was Sparky and her mom's name was Lily. So they just put it together into Spilly. I hate having to yell that name in the parking lot when she runs off like she's about to right now, but that's just become her, you know.
The two make a pretty good team, with Parker planted top 10 in your world standings right now.
Archer Brading, get your Montana!
This was his ride in Red Lodge last month, good for a second-place paycheck at the Extreme Bulls event. Breding has his share of wins, including several at the Dodge National Circuit Finals. In addition to cash, that champion gets a pickup truck, or in Breding's case, several.
I guess 4 pickups. I had the 1-ton first, and then I actually had a half-ton the second time I won it.
The one he's leaning against has over 130,000 miles, and it's payoff from the 3rd time he won.
Got another voucher coming from winning the Ram Finals this year, too, so still trying to figure out what the heck I'm going to do with that.
I don't know, open a truck dealership? We know he's tall enough to see over the steering wheel. The long, lanky cowboy is proving it, approaching the $1 million mark in career earnings in a sport now dominated by smaller guys.
What I do have going for me is a lot of my length is kind of from waist up in my torso. So I don't really have long legs like a lot of them taller bull riders do, and I can kind of knee up, and I can kind of get away with riding a bull like a small guy does.
It works. Breding says he's lost track of the number of gold championship buckles he's won, but has close to 15 trophy saddles. So what if he didn't ride bulls for a living? One of his all-time favorite movies is Anchorman. So does that mean he wants to get into broadcasting?
Definitely don't want to get into broadcasting, but that Will Ferrell makes me laugh no matter what.
No need to quit his day job. Imagine the mischief Spilly would find strictly out of boredom.
She likes to roll and become filthy like this so that my camper can't ever be clean. Yeah, I can wipe all this off and she'll just do it again.
Just like the world's premier cowboys when they hit the dirt.
Archer Brading!
Scott Breen, MTN Sports.
A little Spilly. Thanks so much, Scott. Well, the Yellowstone River Roundup starts a week from tomorrow, next Thursday at Montana Fair. Up next in weather, from near record highs to temperatures we could actually live with. Ed has the full 7-day forecast right after this.